Hey everybody, Chef Tovia here, and today on the Sugary Sweet, I'm going to show you guys the only German chocolate cake recipe you'll need. You'll be able to find all the ingredients you'll need for today's recipe in the description box. Please subscribe to the Sugary Sweet notifications so you'll be notified of my uploads. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up our chocolate. So I have here 4 ounces of Ghirardelli chocolate. You need chocolate that's at least 45% cacao. And we're going to cut up all this chocolate. I have my cutting board here. I have a rag under it to keep it from sliding. Take a sharp knife and just chop your chocolate. And once you chop all your chocolate up, we're going to put inside of a bowl or into a Pyrex measuring glass. Then I have some boiling water, and I'm just going to pour the boiling water over the chocolate, and I'm going to allow it to sit for a moment or two, and then we're going to whisk it. And I just took some water and brought it to a boil in the microwave and just pour it over. It makes it certainly easier than having to bring up a double boiler or having to melt them both together over the stove. So I'm going to keep whisking this. It's going to come very smooth, and then we're going to set it aside. So after you let it sit for a while, you just mix this together and it should come like this. So we're going to set this aside. So I have here at the bottom of my mixer my sugar, and then I have butter that's at room temperature. And I'm going to cream the two together. I'm going to cream the two together for about 5 to 6 minutes. While the butter and sugar is creaming together, I have here the egg whites, and I'm going to go ahead and begin to beat them. And I'm using a balloon whisk. Make sure you're using a very clean bowl. Make sure there's no soap residue or any type of leftover fat content, grease, oil, because this will prevent your egg whites from whipping up. And I did let them come to room temperature. So I'm going to just keep beating this with the balloon whisk so it comes a little bit more frothier. Now I'm going to add a little bit of peanut tartar, just a pinch, and this helps stabilizes the egg whites when you whip them. Now I'm just going to keep whisking this with the balloon whisk until I get stiff peaks. So it holds the peak where it's stiff peaks. So this has been creaming together for about 5 minutes, and it's not going to look super, light and fluffy because, we don't have a lot of butter in here. So don't expect it to look too fluffy. So what I'm going to do is add my egg yolks one at a time, and we're going to beat well after each addition. You want to beat about 30 seconds or so after adding each egg yolk. If you don't, this may possibly curdle and your cake may fail. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to add is the chocolate. And then we're going to add the vanilla as well, but I'm going to put the mixer back on first. And I'm going to add the vanilla. Stop the machine. I'm going to get this scraped down. I'm just going to make sure all this butter, egg, and chocolate is thoroughly mixed together. So here is my flour. This is cake flour and baking soda sifted together on top of some parchment paper. Be sure you're using cake flour, regular cake flour, with no other leavening agents added to it. So what I'm going to do is add, I'll let the machine up actually. I'm going to add half of my flour to this. Okay, so that's half of the flour. And I'm just going to mix it until it's just dissolved. And now that it's just dissolved, I'm going to add half of that buttermilk. As soon as that's in there, we're going to add half of that remaining flour. Stop the machine. I'm going to add half of the remaining flour. I should put my splash guard on, but I didn't. Stop the machine. I'm going to turn the machine on low, and I'm just going to pour in the rest of that buttermilk. I'm going to stop the machine and go and pour in the rest of our flour. And this time we don't have to mix it until the flour is thoroughly combined, just until it's barely dissolved, because we're going to finish folding this all together. Okay, that's good. So you see it still has a lot of flour lumps in it. Don't worry about it. And if you did your egg whites at the same time you cream your butter and it seems to lost some air, you can just re-whip it back up. So what I'm going to do is add some of my egg whites to this cake batter, and I'm just going to fold, making like a letter J shape. And once this is almost all completely combined, you're going to add some more of the egg whites. This gives the cake an extra rise, and also so your cake won't be so heavy. Now I wouldn't recommend using all-purpose flour or self-rising flour, because the protein count in those flours are higher and your cake may come out a little bit too dense or too tough. So I'm going to add the remaining of the egg white. And I'm going to fold it a little bit more. It's okay if it's not all folded in, but when you do it, we're going to fold gently to make sure we don't want to knock out all that air that we just worked so hard to accomplish. Okay, so I got all that combined together. I'm just going to the middle of the bowl just to make sure everything is combined. Okay, so we have my muffin pan here that I've already lined with papers, and I sprayed around the top part with non-stick spray. And I'm using my wooden scoop. This is my cake measure scoop. I'm going to put in my cake batter into each cupcake. So I'm just going to repeat the same process. This is going to give me about 24 cupcakes total, and these are going to bake in a preheated 350-degree oven for 15 to 18 minutes. If you're using round cake pans, then you will need to bake this for 45 minutes to an hour at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm using my Geisha food processor, and I'm going to add some pecans, and then I'm going to just pulse this a bit. I don't want to chop it too much. So you have nice bits and pieces like that. Then we're going to make the filling, and I'm using a French whisk, and I'm going to show you what a French whisk is. This is a French whisk, and this is a balloon whisk. The French whisk is longer, and it enables you to be able to get around the sides of your pots better. The slim design is extremely useful. So I'm going to go ahead and put my flame here on medium-low heat. It's not hot yet, I just turned it on, and I'm going to pour in my condensed milk. And then once I add my condensed milk, I'm going to add 4 egg yolks, and I'm using farm fresh eggs. So 4 egg yolks, and I'm going to go ahead and beat the milk and the eggs together. So I'm working on medium-low because we want to heat this up slowly to ensure that this does not curdle. We don't want to cook the eggs or cause them to scramble. See, this whisk is useful because you can really get into the sides of your pot. So I'm just constantly whisking very well, and I'm working on medium heat. I'm gonna just see this is starting to warm up, and it is. So as it's starting to warm up, I'm gonna add my brown sugar. I'm going to increase the heat to medium. We're more on a medium-low, but not extremely low. And I'm just going to keep whisking. And the sugar is going to dissolve. Now that the sugar dissolved, I'm going to add my butter. I'm going to bring the heat back up. I'm just going to whisk. Down. But we're going to cook this for about 8 minutes or so, and it's going to thicken up. So it's starting to thicken up a lot. It has about another 4 minutes or so to cook. Okay, so we've been whisking this, for about 8 minutes now. And you see it's gotten dark in color. It's really thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my heat, and then I'm going to add my vanilla flavoring. So whisk that in. Salt balances, and it also enhances the flavor and everything. Whisk everything in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in my pecans that we did in the food processor. And then finally we're going to add our coconut. Then we add our coconut. Then what I'm going to do is just stir everything together. Making sure there's plenty of coconut and pecans throughout everything. So now I'm going to pour this into a bowl, and then we're going to let this sit for about 30 minutes. Now for our German chocolate cupcakes, we're going to create like a well. I got Wilton tip number 2D, and I'm just going around the outside of the cupcake. Going around it once, and again twice. Just leaving a nice little hole in the middle. And then I'm going to put this in the freezer for about 10 minutes, just so they can sit nice and firm. For the chocolate buttercream frosting, please check the description box. I have a video tutorial there on how to make it. So for the final part, I took some of our coconut filling that we made, and you're just gonna, and I put it inside a pastry bag with nothing over. I just cut a little bit off the end, and I didn't put no tip on there. And I'm just gonna simply just fill it. And I'm just really making sure that it's being filled into each. Let's just sprinkle some coconut on top as a nice little garnish. Just dust it down lightly with coconut. And then I'm going to put a pecan on the top of each one, so people know that there is pecans in this. And this makes this a nice garnish. Please add this video to your playlist if you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment section below. And please subscribe to The Sugary Sweet. Hit the notification bell to be notified of my uploads. I have an upload schedule coming soon. And I'm going to show you what the inside of what the cake looks like, so you do know that it is moist. Here's one of the cakes that I didn't frost. Let's do a quick demonstration. I'm going to show you the cake. I'm going to break it apart in half. And you see it's very moist. Have a nice moist crumb. So please try this recipe. I promise you have the most perfect cake, perfect German chocolate cake. I would taste this, but I'm allergic to tree nuts. So thanks for watching.